Okay, problem number 3, we're given a revenue function and an interval from 0 to 200. Make a chart, find roots, relative max and min. Okay, so first of all, I need to go from 0 to 200, and I'm just going over the top of my the spreadsheet I used on the last problem. Number of points is 40, so now my steps will be 5. So see, this automatically updated for my x values because it's still referring back to what my step was. But my function needs to be updated because I still have my function from the last problem. So make this equals parentheses 543 minus 9 times pi, get the x value, close parentheses, times pi, get the x value again. And then copy that down. And now my graph should have automatically updated. There it is, because it still refers back to all those, the same data, the same 40 points as before. So I can see that the graph that's closest is this one. Well, it doesn't look very much like it, does it? But it's closer than any of the others. So that'll be C. Find any roots of the function. Okay, so there are 2 roots, and now I can see that so there are 2 roots up here because here's the x-axis at a height of 0. Okay, this will be interesting. So my first root, I think, is just going to be at 0. And now when I put this in, see how I get this negative 1.1? That's because this function is from my old spreadsheet. It's the that negative 1.1, got to be careful about using previous spreadsheets because this is still my function from my last problem. So I'm going to have to update that, and I can do that with any one of these because this function, see, is got copied down. So I'm going to go get my function, copy it, and come paste it here. And I'll just copy that down so that it should always now be calculating the new function. Okay, my first root, I think it's at 0, but let's do the solver on it. Set my objective cell. See how it's keeping the instructions from the last time I used solver. So click on your new objective cell to a value of 0 by, and I'm going to highlight this and click on the X and solve. Looks like it was 0, 0. My second root, that's 50. That's 100. So maybe at 70-ish. And then have solver. Set my objective function. So click on it to a value of 0 by changing. Highlight and then click on your X value and solve. It's at 60. Okay, so roots at 60, comma, and my other one was at 0. Find the relative max and relative min. Relative max looks to be about here. So about 50 it will be my starting point for that. And then I'll bring up solver. Set my objective function to a maximum by changing my x value 30. Local minimums. So there's a minimum at 0. You can see that from the graph. And then there's also another local minimum here at the right endpoint of 200. Find the absolute max and the absolute min. So my left endpoint was at 0. My right endpoint, the x value is 200. And then this value should update. That's definitely my minimum. So the absolute maximum occurs same place that the relative max happened. And the absolute minimum occurred at the right endpoint of 200.